Hey there and welcome back to The Sims 3. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of this attempt to fully complete The Sims 3 World Adventures. In the last episode we returned to Shang Simla, where Yooni began the lengthy tournament grind to become a martial arts grandmaster. William completed his fishing duties by catching all 5 unique Chinese fish, while Sanat searched tombs, merchant and the countryside for the last few missing gems, insects and relics. Along the way, we completed several collections, purchased a vacation home, and yes, also finally managed to fulfill Yooni's martial arts master lifetime wish. Today then, there is only one major task left in China, completing the Dragon Cave. Once that is done, we can return to Riverview and build the Chinese wing of our museum in preparation for the final stretch of the series. So, we have no reason to waste any time. Yooni enters the Dragon Cave immediately, with Sanat and William already on their way to join her. Now, we explored the first small section of this tomb during an earlier visit, but we couldn't continue without the Dragon Keystone. Now that Yooni has it in her possession, the route forward is finally open. Down the stairs here, Yooni first clears a rubble pile with Pangu's axe to find some treasure, while Sanat moves deeper into the chamber. A statue needs to be moved onto a pressure plate here, and by the time William finally arrives, Sanat has unlocked the next door. Behind it now lies a long corridor ending in another locked passage. Another way onwards is hidden inside the wall, however, while dragging the nearby statue aside also reveals a hole that opens the route onwards. Before continuing though, we explore that hidden section. There are a few ancient coins to collect and a sarcophagus buried beneath the rubble, although that one only contains even more ancient coins. The next chamber is then considerably more dangerous, with fire traps covering much of the floor. Sanat clears another rubble pile, but the door behind it remains locked until William moves the statue in the previous room back into position. A second rubble pile now reveals a pressure plate, and standing on it disables the fire traps along the left side of the room. That now allows Yooni to reach a crescent keystone, although several more traps still block access to the exit. In the center of the room, 2 statues can now be pushed onto floor switches, while William also investigates a hole in the wall. Moving the statues disables almost every remaining trap, and William's switch takes care of that final one. Yooni can now safely reach the keystone panel, while Sanat uses another hole on the opposite side of the center chamber to unlock a tiny treasure room inside it. There are plenty of ancient coins in here and a relic from the Dangerous Creatures collection, very valuable, but sadly no longer needed now that the set is already complete. Moving on, the stairs provide the main route forward, but dragging one more statue out of position here reveals a narrow side passage with another treasure chest at the end. Unsurprisingly, we find more ancient coins. At the bottom of the stairs then, Yooni and Sanat split up, each taking one side of the room. Both need to pull a statue onto a floor switch, which disables the fire traps blocking the route ahead. The next chamber now comes with a useful plaque on the wall. We are told to trust the gaze of the statues. In other words, we simply run in the direction each statue is facing. We'll leave this task up to Yooni, who heads forward, while Sanat investigates a suspiciously looking wall. She reaches the exit quickly, and Sanat finds a secret chamber containing a Chinese vase and another generic relic. And instead of making William and Sanat run through the entire trapped route as well, we use the Eyes of Horus to simply teleport them directly to Yooni, who has in the meantime discovered another hidden room, this one containing treasure beneath a rubble pile. That is a job for Sanat. The next area repeats the same basic puzzle as before. Another plaque tells us to follow the statue's gaze, which eventually points directly towards a wall. Not a dead end, however. Investigating it reveals a hidden passage, but unfortunately a second wall blocks the route immediately afterwards. And no, at least in my experience, the nearby trapped corridor cannot be disarmed, so there is no shortcut here. We simply have to wait while both hidden walls are opened. As a reward for our efforts, we then reach an area completely covered in dangerous traps. There is no safe route through, but another secret doorway reveals a way around them. Reading the plaque on the far side also disables the traps, and the room offers a few treasures as well. Some are sitting openly on a table, while the rest are hidden beneath a giant boulder. To continue, we now want to head downstairs. There are two possible entrances here, one from this chamber and another one from the trapped room behind us, but both lead to the same staircase. The stairs going up, by the way, would return us toward the entrance, so we take the downward route instead and arrive in a chamber filled with mirrors. One wall, however, is curiously missing one, a strong hint that we should investigate it. That now opens two connected rooms containing more mirrors and several fire traps. A statue can be pushed directly onto one trap to disable it, while Sanat collects ancient coins behind the hidden door. Clearing the first set of traps grants access to another crescent keystone, and the traps in the neighboring room deactivate automatically, making a second keystone available as well. We use one of them to unlock the way forward, while William investigates another suspicious wall, and Sanat collects the Dragon Cave's unique tomb sigil. This one is of course extremely important. We definitely do not want to leave without it. And with that, the route into the final chamber is now open. In the last episode, we were warned numerous times of the Dragon Cave's guardian, and his sarcophagus now stands in the center of the room, and unlocking it requires activating a sequence of pressure plates. Doing so also opens a smaller chamber at the back, where two pushable statues need to be moved aside to reveal the next switch. While Yooni works her way through these switches, Sanat can search the regular sarcophagi in the room, and one of those unfortunately releases a mummy, although after everything Yooni went through against Michelle Wong last episode, this should not be much of a problem. Sanat then swims through an underground tunnel connecting two dive wells and reaches another pressure plate. And just as Yooni then steps onto the final switch in front of the central sarcophagus, a second mummy emerges from elsewhere in the room. Weirdly enough, the game now already informs us that the Tomb Guardian has been defeated, although as you can clearly see, we now have two mummies standing right in front of us. Now, Yooni handles the first one easily, and now faces the legendary guardian of the Dragon Cave himself. And, well, she defeats him just as decisively, sending him back to whatever realm he came from. His sarcophagus, meanwhile, is unfortunately less impressive, containing only a single money bag. William uses a star keystone from his inventory to open the nearby treasure chest, but that reward is not much better, only a generic Chinese vase. Now, the Dragon Cave tomb is not officially complete until we step into the adjacent chamber here with the large dragon mosaic on the floor, However, the fire-breathing design is apparently not enough of a warning for William, who walks directly onto the hidden fire traps. Thanks to his sacrifice, though, the floor is now safe for everyone else, and Yooni can collect the remaining treasure, some ancient coins, a few generic relics, another money bag, and a gemstone. All in all, a decent haul, but of course not why we came here. Our real objective was of course always full completion, and that is now achieved. We teleport back to the markets and report to our quest giver Ku Hao Yit, officially completing the Dragon Cave quest line, and with it the final remaining adventure here in Shang Simla. That means our work in China is now finished, every quest is complete, every collection is accounted for, and there is nothing left for us to do but to return home to Riverview and put everything on display. So here we are, back at home, quickly watching Fabien, who is already preparing for the final remaining nectar-making skill challenge by planting another dozen or so grapevines. Our adventurers meanwhile arrive a few moments later, and after the long trip they had, everyone heads straight to bed. And yes, I can also confirm that 4 Sims fit comfortably inside a single Sultan's tabernacle, which makes the second tent in the Egyptian wing completely unnecessary. I think we'll deal with that during the next building overhaul. For now though, let us put the 3 remaining Chinese gemstones on display: soul piece, lapis lazuli, and jade. William also has 2 more pieces of Tiberium in his inventory, so let's place those on the floor here and leave them to grow overnight. There is a little inventory management to take care of as well. I'll spare you most of it, but in total we sell roughly 25,000 simoleons worth of gemstones, with a large part of that coming from soul piece gems, which are extremely valuable. And I suppose, with the finances sorted out, it is now time to build. First of all, however, we need to make some room. The old gazebo is slowly dismantled, including the basement underneath it, and Fabien's fruit and vegetable garden moves to a new spot as well. The basic structure of our third building then should look very familiar by now, another octagon matching the Egyptian and French wings from the outside. Inside, we once again begin with 4 columns marking a central area, this time of course using the Chinese-themed versions. A light helps us see what we're doing, and then we can begin shaping the main idea for this wing. Once again, I want this to be more than just a simple collection room. Instead, let's have it include a proper martial arts and sparring area, which can then be surrounded by relic displays. And let's include a little water into the design as well, so we begin by placing a narrow pool border around the central area here. For the floor, we use a dark wood with an almost red tone, and red will also be the main accent color in this room, following the blue of Egypt and the green of France. I initially gave the pool walls a reddish color too, although I'm not quite happy with that, and I think I'll change it later. We then put fences between the pool and the sparring area. I think this looks nice and also prevents our martial artists from falling into the water mid-fight. For the walls, we combine dark red-tinted wood with a light fabric pattern that keeps the Chinese theme while adding some brightness to an otherwise fairly dark room. Our first major display then consists of 3 cases along the back wall here, with an expensive water fountain placed behind the martial arts area. These cases will now hold all 9 Chinese tomb sigils, proudly showing off another full collection. A few windows provide some natural light, and then we move on to the Chinese vases. These will sit directly inside the central sparring area, arranged in the corners beside the columns. 8 wooden display stands fit around the space, 2 in each corner, with the vases now placed on top. Our Sims will simply have to make sure they don't break any of them while sparring. A Chinese treasure chest goes near the entrance, and I decided to space the tomb sigilus place out a little bit more. I think this looks a bit better. We then add lights around the entrance, along with 2 large statues, and I spent quite a while deciding how they should look, and eventually settled on an almost garishly bright gold, because why the hell not? Our Sims are world-class adventurers after all. Along both side walls, we place another 3 display stands each, 6 in total. The left side now holds the 3 unique dangerous creatures relics from China that we already had on display before, while the right side displays the 3 Chinese insects we collected during the last episode. Final decorations then include more lights at the back, several plants and a few wall pieces. As promised, I also reworked the pool walls and floor to give the water a more natural appearance. And since we are already putting pools inside a museum, we may as well go a little further and add some small fountains for extra flair, not to mention that they also sound quite nice in-game. A rug underneath the treasure chest helps draw attention to the entrance, and then I realized we were still missing the most important part of the martial arts room, the martial arts equipment. Thankfully, both the training dummy and the board breaker still fit inside. And with that, I think our Chinese wing of the museum is complete. Yes, the interior is considerably darker than the Egyptian and French buildings, but I really like the end result quite a lot. Let me know what you think though, and whether you have any ideas for improvements. After a night of rest, Sanat and Yooni can now test out the new sparring ground the following morning. William and Fabien, meanwhile, begin fertilizing the newly planted grapes to help them grow faster, since we still need to harvest a large number of them for the final nectar-making challenge. And as the household then gathers for breakfast, I think this marks a good point to make the cut in today's episode. Next time we'll complete the remaining construction and return to France. That may already be the final episode of the series, or perhaps the second to last. Either way, I hope you join me for it, and I also hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or become a channel member or Patreon supporter. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!